So the feed controls where the chickens are, and you control where the dog is.
So I probably have to
So-
use one of the kids to help me with that.
Yeah. So if you just do a food scatter, scratch, throw some scratch down or something.
I might need to work on impulse control on the chickens.
Well, depending on how big you make the circle is how much they're moving around.
Okay.
So if you make a pile or put a food bowl out, they can work at that while you work the distance with the dog, and then make the pile scatter bigger and bigger so that they're moving more, but staying contained.
So is the difference here with regular leave it can be any object, anything, you just say leave it, they're supposed to look back and not touch it. But with the implied leave it, you have to train with a specific item that you want them to not touch without a cue.
The question is the implied leave it different from a cued leave it? And no, the training is the same. If I'm going to teach him a cue for leave it and he doesn't know the cue, I'm going to start with this training as an implied, it's basically an implied leave it at first because he doesn't know the cue. And so telling him leave it isn't going to help because he doesn't know what that means until you teach him what it means. And so I think I mark in the video when you would add the cue to this behavior, but you don't want to add the cue too quickly because the dog doesn't know, you're not pairing the cue with the behavior that you want. The dog is still conflicted as to whether he should dive on it or leave it or move with you or look at you or, they don't know the behavior that leave it, they don't know what leave it means, and leave it wouldn't have the proper meaning if you add it too quickly. So whatever your cue is, you want to add the cue after you get the behavior you want, so that the cue means the behavior you want and not all of the training steps up to the behavior you want.
So basically they have to understand what they're doing before they put the cue on
Right.
the behavior.
So for her, it's just like with chickens, we have cats. And the healer just wants to chase them all along. So it'd be like the distance would be the friend. So,
Absolutely.
So like in the patio, he's trying to get through the door or something, park him at the door and take him back, or maybe take him outside, take him out of the patio,
Yeah.
and then once he calms down, then maybe take a step in.
Yeah, anything that you can do to control you have to be able to control the target object as well as the dog.
Okay.
So, when the cat's eating or when the cat's playing with someone else, something so you can control where the cat is as well as the distance the dog is from the cat. And I just realized you guys couldn't hear my clicks while I was doing this. So go online and watch this video. I'll give you the website at the end. When you watch the video, you can hear when I'm clicking, because I just realized that you probably couldn't hear that. The timing of the click is what's important, not the timing of the reward delivery. So when the dog understands the click means you just did what I want you to do, then the amount of time it takes to get the treat and deliver it doesn't matter. But the timing of the click, the yes or whatever you're using as a marker is what's most critical.
Do you ever give the item with the peanut butter to the dog?
It's
after you've done the
your
training?
choice. The question is, do you give the item that the dog is leaving to the dog at the end? I have. I've also done it where they don't get it. It depends on what it is. If you're working with a live animal, you're not going to give it to them. But if it's a treat or a toy, then you can tell them get it. but I wouldn't let them just grab it. I would tell them, get it, as a cue that lets them know, now you can have it, so that it stays clear to the
You
dog.
can find something small and moves along the floor.
Wind-up
Big-
toys?
Well, yeah, it's gotta be more like spider size, or bug size, because that's like crack to young cocker. It's like, oh God, something I can harass. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Actually, since the Halloween stores are open, I think we
You could
do have,
probably
some,
find, like,
robotic,
those-
like roaches and things like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Robotic ones.
Even if you got a rubber one, you could put it on fishing line and tie it like I showed with
Yeah,
the,
that's,
with the
that's-
plate.
Yeah, okay, it's the same
And then you
thing.
can control the movement.
It's the same thing as the way we train a pointer to hold the point, is the bird wing goes
Yeah.
on the fishing line and you
Right.
move it around, because the bird's gonna move,
Yep.
but you want them to freeze, yeah.
You
Yeah.
can give those little wind-up caterpillars that'll scoot across the floor,
Mm-hmm.
and those will work really good for that.
Okay. Gonna have to visit the toy store. We'll go on Amazon, I guess I can find
You know,
it.
Halloween
Amazon.
store.
Amazon.
Halloween store will probably have what you want.
Amazon's got everything.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Now, how long do you recommend a session like this going on?
My dogs are really good at maintaining, and they'll work for hours.
I tend to go over.
Yeah,
I'm
and
usually trying to set a timer so it reminds me. that I'm done.
absolutely, that's a very good plan. I tend to really push my dogs, and they've all so far that I've had risen to the challenge. So it really is dog dependent as to how long the session should last, which was what the question was. So some dogs, they may handle a few clicks and then their brain is ready to explode, and you take a break and you come back to it. It's up to the dog and the handler to determine how much the dog can handle. So thankfully, for videoing purposes, my dogs are great at keeping going.
You showed in the picture, you showed passing the dog, okay?
Mhm.
And in that case, I would say, with me, look at me, watch me, watch me, watch me as I go by, instead of leave it. I don't know how you.
You can
handle
have
that.
multiple cues for the same behavior,
Okay,
but you can teach it the exact same way. So you can start with a dog sitting still with their handler, and you approach or back off as the dog can handle it, as they maintain eye contact. So again, you're not naming the behavior until you have it. So by working in these incremental steps, you can see when the distance is too hard for the dog and they have to focus on the other dog, and take it more slowly as you get to that point, so that they can maintain the eye contact like he does with the Kong as they walk by. So again, you are not going to start by walking directly at the other dog. Circle.
okay.
And it may be a very big circle. And you can start by just walking around the dog and just gradually get the circle smaller and smaller. But it does work better if you have clearly delineated repetitions. So curve that way and reward out here, and curve that way and reward, so that it's a clear start and stop. And then gradually you're going to reduce the amount of curve as you go past, so that the dog will eventually be able to walk right past the dog while maintaining eye contact with you. And when you can predict that you can walk past that other dog and your dog won't lose eye contact, is when you can start using the cue.
Okay.
So if you know that you can, if this is the dog and you're starting here, and you know that on this repetition at this distance the dog is able to maintain eye contact with you, then you can say, what's your cue? Look at me,
Watch me.
watch me.
Or-
So then you can say, watch me, and then do your pass. But you should only need to say it once. If the dog loses eye contact with you and has to look at the other dog,
You stop.
you're too close, too fast.
Okay, you stop and back up.
Yeah, you can stop or back up, or you can move away, or you can just say, okay, that one
Make a
didn't
big
work, there's no
circle, bigger
reward for that
circle,
one.
Because that's the biggest issue I have with Mike, extremely. Cockpit,
Yeah,
is,
Which one, that Luigi?
oh yeah. She just thinks everybody loves her.
Mhm.
And they'll love her, and you just don't know what those other dogs are like, so.
right, right.
Right.
Yeah, it's a safety issue. You definitely want the dog to be able to pass other dogs without jumping on them and going to say hi.
Or
Um,
even making eye contact.
Yeah, in some cases, making eye contact can be an issue.
I walk my dog every morning, there's a house that has the electric fence, there's 2 dogs that close the back.
Oh,
So
God.
some days he's better than other days at holding and reacting.
Mhm. And that's a nice scenario, but I wouldn't work it too many times just because of the other, you don't want to aggravate the other dogs.
No, I just walk by
But-
one time, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
but you can use distance
Mhm.
from those other dogs to where he can maintain eye contact with you.
Okay.
And work that so that, you might have to time it with traffic, but be able to go out into the street where you can maintain eye contact, or even pass to the other side of the street at first. And if you can get eye contact over there, then the next time past, go a little bit closer and then a little bit closer.
Okay.
And if he starts breaking eye contact, then that's the distance you have to work.
Okay.
Anybody else? All right, so the next one is going to a mat, and this is such a useful behavior, and there are so many ways that you can use this behavior. When you can send the dog to a place, to a station, if you have a visitor at the door, send the dog to their mat. If you're prepping food in the kitchen and you don't want them underfoot, send the dog to the mat. If you want to eat dinner without the dog drooling on your leg, send them to their mat. The mat can be a relaxing timeout spot for them to rest. It can also be a spot where they may be in ready mode to do the next thing.
Yes.
And you can have different cues to mean different things. So if you say, go place, that means go lay down and rest. You're going to be there a while. If you say, mat or spot or whatever, that means go there, wait a minute, I'm going to release you to do something else. It can be incorporated into the on-off switch game. So you can play tug, go mat, play tug, go mat. You can teach settle and chill for long periods of time with the mat. You can teach stay. It's a great way to teach the walk around behind, because if you can get the dog to lie down on the mat and relax, you can gradually work your way to be able to work around them. You can teach distance work. You can teach go-outs. You can transfer the calmness that they can get from the mat to other more exciting locations. So if they're overexcited when you go to, an agility trial or something, then you work on calming on the mat and relaxation on the mat at home. And when you've got that, then you can transfer that by bringing the mat to the exciting location and help them settle in the exciting location, because they know they have to settle on the mat.
It's in obedience trial. You gotta have them settled.
Yeah, obedience trials.
Mats are
Absolutely.
invaluable.
Yep, and even in classes,
Yeah.
between exercises, if you're paying attention to the instructor and not the dog, it gives them something to do, a place to be, a place to relax, and know that they're off duty at that point. You can station dogs on mats if you have multiple dogs. You reward some for staying on the mats while you're working with another dog. So you can work one dog at a time, even though you've got multiples. And a crate can be trained the same way, but they're not nearly as portable. So a mat is just so handy. And it can be anything the dog can lay on. I taught my guys to relax on a washcloth. That was their clue that you might as well relax and take a nap, because we're going to be here a while. I used it for seminars. I used it at outdoor cafes. Anytime that they, if I was presenting and I wanted them to just chill because I needed them as a demo dog, that was their signal. You're going to be a while. Relax.
Unfold a napkin and lay it down.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much any little piece they would go to.